Hey guys, it's Jules. I had to restart. I had to restart my project here because, can I put this? No, I can't put that there. I gotta put that over here. Trying to organize my stitch along and not show the pattern can be a little difficult for me at times, but it's okay. We got it all squared away. Can you hear the construction going on? We got a lot of construction going on. A lot of neighbors are getting last minute projects done before the winter really kicks in, so everybody's very busy over the last week or two, so except for us, we're not very busy with outdoor projects. So it's October 20 something 22nd maybe. Yeah, I think it's 22nd. I'm a little late on my weekend stitch along because Saturday was crazy, and I'll explain that in a second. But anyway, I just wanted to kind of make sure that I got this done for y'all and for myself, because I enjoy these. I do. It's like a little bit of therapy time, talking to you guys while I'm stitching. Let's see if I'm trying to do this a little bit closer this time, so maybe y'all can see, if you want to see a little bit more. But I'm just going to fill in. We're going to focus on the dark colors on this particular hour, just so that I can make some progress and I'm not constantly switching colors, which can be I don't want to say a pain during a stitch along, but can be I don't know, you just don't get nearly as much done. So had to work yesterday, came home, took a wonderful, wonderful nap that apparently I needed, and then when I got up, we were going to the theater. I had another play to watch last night. My husband is a big theater lover, and especially like musicals and things like that, and he always has been ever since he graduated from college. One of the first things that he did was get a membership to the Denver Performing Arts ticket thing that you can do where you become a season ticket holder, and he's been a season ticket holder now for, I don't know, like 15 years or something like that. So he's a big theater lover, and last night we saw Something Rotten. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, because I don't follow Broadway very much, but apparently it was a new play that came out last year or something like that, and it's a musical, obviously a comedy, and it's sort of a parody of a lot of other musicals that are out there. And it was absolutely just one of the best we've ever seen. So much fun, so good. It's just, if you have a chance to see it, I highly recommend it. Gist of the story is that it occurs back in the time that William Shakespeare was in his heyday, writing all his plays and everything, and there was a competing playwright who wanted to somehow, he wanted to be just as successful and popular and whatnot, and so he went to this soothsayer, this fortune teller in a sense, and the guy, but he's like, to see into the future and tell me what's going to be big in theater, in the future. And the guy's like, musicals. And so they basically like kind of make fun of a lot of very famous musicals throughout the show, in the process of doing it. It was really good. The cast was fantastic. The songs were awesome. I actually bought a shirt, which I think we left in the car, and which is pretty awesome. It actually says "God, I Hate Shakespeare," with a big tomato like hitting the shirt, and it's just that's one of the songs in the play. Wow, what is this over here? I don't know, something that shouldn't be there probably, but anyway, so we really had a great time, and it was just very, very enjoying, and it was very, very enjoying. Very, 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 very entertaining, let's say that. But we got home really late. We didn't get to bed till like midnight. And so because of that, I never got the stitch along done yesterday. And so I'm doing what I said I wouldn't do, which is film a stitch along in the morning. However, I am feeling pretty chippy this morning, so I feel like I can not sound like I'm falling asleep on you. Do have a bit of a headache this morning. I have what I call my theater headache, which is because of sitting in for a play, and we kind of sit off to the side a little bit, and but I mean, they're great seats. I mean, when you have been a season ticket holder for like 15 years, every time somebody maybe in a row or whatnot in front of you like decides not to renew, you can be bumped down. And so we're like 7th row or something, but we're over to the side a little bit. And so because of that, I end up I kind of sit. I like to cuddle with my husband during the show, so I kind of cuddle with him, but I end up having to turn my upper body a little bit and turn my neck to watch the action, and I always end up with a stiff neck the next day because of my history of neck issues. And it's not a big deal. Stretch it out, take some Advil, all shall be fine soon enough. But yeah, in case you guys didn't know, if you haven't seen some of my earliest videos, I talk about I've had 2 neck fusions, and they, a lot of women have degenerative discs in their neck, and it only becomes a problem if you get like arthritis in your neck and it starts to pinch on either your spinal cord or on the nerves that come out from your spinal cord. So if you start to get that, sometimes you can end up with some tingling in your hands or your legs or things like that. And so the first time around, my neck injury was due to my neck problems were primarily, I think, due to hold on, I'm just checking this, were due to a lacrosse injury that I had. I love lacrosse, is a lot of fun, and I always wanted to be a goalie. As you can see, wearing my St. Louis Blues. This is for, I have a Blues fan out there who commented on a video last time and said, "Oh, you're wearing your Avalanche jersey. We're Blues fans." I'm like, I'm a Blues fan. So, said I'd wear my Blues jersey this time, and I am. And, I always wanted to play like a goalie position. I always thought that was the cool thing to do. And so several years ago, when I was sort of bored, believe it or not, I was didn't have as much to do at that time. So I wanted to find something new, and I signed up for this women's lacrosse league here in Denver. And at the time, there was just a ton of people that were playing. They needed goalies very badly. They actually provided all my equipment and gave me a little bit of training, and the rest of it was just me, flailing around and playing and whatnot. And I played for a couple of years, and I enjoyed it for the most part, but it's very cliquey, and I'm not I can be pretty quiet, introverted at times, especially around people that I don't know. And so I it never really got along with them great. And I had areas of my game in which I was pretty deficient. So I was good at some things and really bad at others. And so in the end, I ended up stopping. But the reason why I stopped playing was because I got hit in the head by a very close-in shot from a very strong, tall person who just nailed me right in the forehead. Now, I was wearing a goalie helmet, of course, but, I mean, you take that kind of force right into the front of your helmet, and you're going to get some whiplash, which is I had a bit of whiplash, and I definitely got, at the time, I didn't realize it, but I probably had a concussion as well, because I did see stars, and it wasn't terribly bad, but I didn't realize at the time that that's what it was, but that's what it was. All right, I finished one strand of floss. Yay! I'm using 2 strands over one. It's 14 count Ada. It's like an oatmeal. It's so soft. I love it. This is such good fabric. It's like, I'm so glad I got this for this pattern. But anyway, so when I hurt my neck, and I didn't realize it at first, and it wasn't until about 2 or 3 weeks later, I was in the throes of, the other thing I was doing because I was bored was I had a personal trainer. And so I'd go see the personal trainer like once a week, and she'd put me through, all these workouts and whatnot. We were doing some sort of a fitness test like 2-3 weeks later. So I was trying to do like as many push-ups as I could do for her. And right in the middle, like 5 push-ups in, I had my first migraine. And I've never had a migraine before. And I've only had a couple in my life, and they were both within about 2 weeks of the first one, basically. And it was really, really bad. I mean, I totally empathize now with people who have chronic migraines, because once you've had one yourself, you totally understand how crippling they are. But so the it's kind of like one of those things where I wish I knew then what I know now. I could have saved myself a lot of pain, a lot of wasted time. I had chronic neck, upper back, and back spasms, neck tightening, and tons of headaches. I had a headache every day for like 2 years, and that just stunk. And I was very different during that time. I was very you can imagine if you have a headache for 2 years, I stopped being able to work out. I could cross stitching was about all I could do. But it was just, I was taking so much Advil and Aleve every day. It was just ridiculous. And eventually we figured out that it was my neck, and I had to go in and get some stabilization of, I had some pretty severe arthritis in a certain spot in my neck, and I had the surgery and tremendously improved. I mean, I was so happy, to have that pain removed from my neck and my head. It was so amazing. Now, I rushed the second surgery. I absolutely rushed the second surgery. In my head, I was thinking, I'm going to need to, this is going to happen again. And, because I don't know, I was just sort of just pessimistic about it, that it was going to happen again. And a couple years later, when I started having some tingling in my hands and stuff, did an MRI on my neck, and yep, I had the space above my fusion, I had collapsed disc, arthritis, blah, blah, blah. It wasn't nearly as severe as the first one, but it was just, it was only a matter of time. And but at the same time, they found that I had carpal tunnel disease. They went in and did if you've ever had the carpal, and it seems like a lot of cross stitchers end up having it, but they do the carpal tunnel thing where they insert needles into different parts of your arm and whatnot. It's really uncomfortable. One of the more painful tests that I've ever had, and I had very severe carpal tunnel. And it's not cross stitching. It was never cross stitching. It was all the work that I did around the house when I was single. I painted everything in my house. I painted all the ceilings and all the walls in the years preceding that. And what really made my wrist worse was I was redoing my master bath, and I had gutted it down to the frame, and was putting in new drywall and was painting, and one of my friends was helping me, and we were putting in like a new shower, and I tiled everything, and so a lot of very forceful bending of the wrist. And I knew it was that because anytime that I worked on the bathroom, I had a hard time sleeping the following 2 or 3 days, because 2 or 3 nights, because my hands would fall asleep so bad. So anyway, got the wrist done. I don't know if you can see you can see the scar. It's right there. And just tiny little scars. If you guys are contemplating carpal tunnel, if that's what you need, this one here is just right here. I highly recommend doing it sooner than later, because the longer you let it sit, the more likely it is that you'll have long-term damage, and you just don't want that, And it's really not that big of a deal. It's a pain because of the restrictions that you have for like about, a certain number of weeks and whatnot. But come on, time flies, and you can still stitch. You can still stitch after this kind of surgery. I absolutely, the day after I had surgery, I was already cross stitching. I might have been actually doing this pattern. I tried doing this pattern on 18 count way before, like back when I had the surgery done, and I hated 18 count for this pattern, so I ended up stopping it and restarting it on 14 count. But I think I might have been doing this pattern when I kind of was recovering from the surgery. But anyway, blah blah blah. What was I getting at? Oh, but I ended up because I had to have carpal tunnel, and because my neck was starting to go, I was like, well, could we just go ahead and do my neck? It was like the stupidest thing I ever said. I can't even believe I did that. But the neurologist is like, well, given your history, if you just want to go ahead and have it done while we're doing this, I mean, clearly it's going to happen in the near future, so we can just go ahead and do it. And so they fused the disc space above the one that was already fused, and so I have a nice long plate in my neck. And surprisingly, or not surprisingly, some of my my pain and stuff, especially that I was having intermittently in my neck and my back, didn't go away after that surgery. And so it forced me to look at the idea that, okay, something else is going on. I need to look into this. And I started actually looking into chiropractors. And I found one actually quite a bit away, because it's I liked this specific technique of chiropractic called Gonstead chiropractic, which was very sort of engineering oriented in terms of what they how they go about fixing what's wrong and whatnot. And the guy down there, that was like a 45-minute drive one way, and the guy that I went to definitely helped me, because I mean I swear he like gave me an inch of height back in my body, because I had such a painful sort of T1. My first thoracic was just totally locked up from everything, and when he started moving that and getting it to move, it just loosened. It began to loosen everything up. But the problem was that I kept having to go down like every week. Like it would fix it, but only for like a week, because I had such chronic problems. And so I did that for months though, because he would help me. It felt good. And I'd been to another chiropractor up where near I live, and I just didn't like the way, it just felt like it was just literally like popping your back just to pop your back and do different things, but it wasn't done with sort of a specific purpose in mind. Just like, hey, let's just pop everything kind of thing. And so I just didn't like it. But then I ran into somebody who was a chiropractor, and he literally had an office next door to my office, and like in the neighboring building. And so I went to see him because he was sort of a no-nonsense kind of guy, and I liked that about him, that he would, there's no BS there. It was just like, this is what you need to do, this is what's going on. And he was actually, or is actually, a chiropractor for football players, especially some Steeler players, James Harrison to be specific. And so I was kind of impressed with that. And in case you're wondering, hey, he may just say that and he's not actually the chiropractor, there's actually a video out that came out of like about a month ago about James Harrison's training routine and everything he does to keep himself. He's a linebacker for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and everything he does to keep himself because he's like 39 years old, so he has to do a lot of work to keep himself ready to play. And in the video, he shows all the different people that work on him, and my chiropractor was there working on his body. So absolutely, totally, the guy's for real. He's totally legit. So I started seeing this guy, and oh my God, like just what a difference. I mean, he really would get in there and just, you could feel, okay, this is what, I mean, he was just amazing. He was just totally amazing. He could just, in feeling like this area is locked up. Well, if this area is locked up, then I'll bet you down here is locked up too, because this is all connected. You know, it was just, it was such a massive difference in results, because I saw him like once a week for like 3 weeks. And then ever since then, I've only had to go in maybe about once a month. And I still have to, because I have the arthritis in my neck, and I end up starting to get locked up with headaches and stuff, and so I have to go in and see him. And then as soon as he adjusts me, I feel like $1,000,000, and everything stays. And I'm working out again, so oh, come on, Jules. I hate it when you get those little frays and get the tiny little thread, and it prevents you from being able to put your needle where it's supposed to go. But anyway, it was funny because, like, after I'd seen him for, I don't know, 3 or 4 weeks in a row or whatever, I was like, all right, now am I able to start working out again? Because I do feel a lot better now, and can I start, lifting weights? And, I always loved lifting weights. I just like, I don't know, I just always loved that feeling of getting stronger. And he says, no, I wouldn't do that just yet. He said, if you really want my advice on what you should do, what I think that you should do to get yourself, because he says you've had years of your upper back and your neck muscles and your shoulders and everything being weak and being prone to spasms. So we need to strengthen all that area first and do it in a safe way. So he says, if you want my advice, what I recommend is that you start swimming, and you swim 3 times a week for 3 months, and then you can start doing anything that you want to do. And I said, I'm not really a good swimmer. I don't really enjoy it very much. And he said, I don't care. Take some lessons. You need to do this. And I love it when he was like, I don't care. And and so, because we always want to make excuses if we don't want to do something that we, don't like to do or whatever. And so I needed that. I needed that no-nonsense approach to how I... to how we were doing things. So anyway, so I started swimming. That was back in January, I think it was. And my husband and I started going to the gym 2 or 3 mornings a week. And I took some swimming lessons, and then I started swimming, and I got stronger. And I got to a point where I was able to definitely, I'm going to switch thread here, where I was able to start being able to work out without it causing a headache. So now, I can do just about anything I want to without it causing a headache. And if it starts causing a headache, then I go to the chiropractor. He, loosens everything up, puts everything back in place, and then I am good to go. Wow, look at this. I have really messed up this thread. And this skein. What am I doing? I'm crazy is what I'm doing. Anyway, that's my next story. I always tell people, I'm like, if you are in chronic pain, don't just accept it. There's just no reason to accept it. If what you're doing isn't working, and I say this especially because I see so many people that that I know of that talk about, they've had back surgery or whatnot and neck surgery, and maybe they're still painful, and the doctors are like, well, I'm not sure if we should do surgery again. And they're going to physical therapy and all these different things. And physical therapy is great to try to strengthen you up. But if everything is kind of slightly misaligned and out of whack, physical therapy is not going to put things back in whack. And you have to find a good chiropractor. I think that's the key. And it can be hard because they're not all good. So I think that, it's just a matter of having common sense, and to some degree. I'm sorry, I'm just looking at what I need to be stitching next and trying to figure it out. I hear this ringing in my ear. Somebody's probably using some sort of equipment nearby, and it's popping into my ear. That does happen for me. All right, I think I'm going to stop the video here because I need to readjust my my pattern that's sitting right here. I need to go ahead and mark it off, but I need to readjust it just a little bit so that I can move on with this. But I'll be back in just a second, and you guys won't even notice. All right, readjust the pattern a little bit, figured out what I'm going to do here, and moved on. So this face is looking really weird, isn't it? I mean, I think it's going to be fine, and I think it's just literally the coloration, the design that was used in the original picture, since this is a Saturday Evening Post picture from way back. I think it'll be just fine, but gotta definitely work on it some more. I do enjoy this pattern so much. Let's see, I got a lot of progress done on, let's see, I think Rainy Waterloo Place, I think I did. And got some Old World Map 2 done. And the Prayer of St. Francis, got that done. Haven't worked on the Queen Bee one yet, or sorry, God Save the Queen. God Save the Queen. But what's coming in? My husband has to go tend to the bees today, run some errands, and so he's coming up to kind of get ready. You can let her in. She's pawing at the door. We call her What, and she's dachshund that we got from a friend that needed a home, and she is a blast. She's old though, she's like 13, so she's, you know, but she's really just added so much to our lives here with all of our crazy menagerie of dogs and everything. So I really enjoy having her, but we call her What because when she barks, it's like what, and so we just started calling her What, and it's kind of stuck. That's pretty funny. The snails were frisky again last night. I was checking on everybody before I went to bed and getting ready to turn out the lights, and they had met up in the middle of the tank again. I don't know how they do it. It's just crazy. But they were definitely locked up, trying to make some babies, I suppose. I haven't seen any sign of any babies anywhere. I don't know if the other fish would leave babies alone. I've got some bottom feeders, and I don't know if there's a place where the snails would be able to lay eggs and not have them eaten. So I'd love to have snail babies. That would be so cool. We'll have to see. We'll have to just see. Oh, but I decided to make the leap and get a little video camera for a lot of reasons, but one of them is I definitely wanted a good video camera for when we go to Alaska for our honeymoon, our long delayed honeymoon next May in Alaska. And the video camera on the phone does a fine job. However, there's like little to no zoom factor, and it's, you know, if I use the camera on it, I'm just gonna end up just decimating the battery, and I don't want to do that the whole time. So I was looking at some different options on things we could do. Let's switch back to 3799. You can barely tell. I'm using 535 and 3799, and I don't, you can kind of tell because it's like right here, you can tell that's 535 and the rest is 3799. But anyway, so I was just looking at some different options and stuff, and I haven't had a video camera. Like, I mean, my parents had one of those big Mondo units when we were kids, but I haven't had one, and wanted to kind of see what they had out there. And the other thing too is that I wanted to kind of start using the camera to, oh, my legs are sore, to shoot some of my fish stuff, because I feel like those snails are just fascinating, and I feel like they definitely need to, I want to film some of their activity because they're so active and they're fascinating. But I'm going to need to leave the camera on them for quite a while. And if I do that, then I can't use the one, this camera does not take good videos of the fish tanks. I'm not sure why, but it just doesn't. And it takes okay, but not high quality, not good ones. And so, so anyway, hey, it's what? Hey, what? All right, she's doing her own thing. Somehow my husband snuck her in without me realizing that he snuck her in. Or else she crawled under the door. Coco, did you crawl under the door? She's sniffing around to see what the cat may have left for her. She has this fearful thing with the cat where she really wants to play with the cat, but the cat really doesn't want to play with her. So she tries so desperately to get close to the cat, but then if the cat does something and corners her, then she flips out and screams like she's gonna die. It's pretty funny. The cat's just looking at her like, what are you doing? But anyway, so I was looking at some different options on cameras and stuff, and gosh knows you can spend quite a lot. That wasn't what we were looking for. So in the end, I just bought a kind of a basic, highly rated camera on Amazon. That was only like $100. It's just a handheld one, and it was very, everybody was like, hey, it's great, like amateur video, but it takes really great pictures, and you can't beat the price. And so I was like, all right, let's do this. So that's coming later this week. Maybe I'll have some fish videos up next weekend, maybe. I actually have a fish channel, and I've tried to put some videos up, but I'm just not happy with how they look, so that's why I haven't publicized them here. What? She's just sniffing around. Maybe, if we're lucky, before the end of the video, she'll come over and want to get up on the chair with me, but she's her own dog, man. So she does what she wants. What? Because sometimes I wonder if she even realizes I'm in here with her. What? You come here? Coco, come here. She says, nah, forget it. I'm too busy. I got things to sniff. Sorry, guys. She's been on my videos before, though. There's a video somewhere way back, somewhere that she's in, made an appearance, but when she didn't feel like doing something, I ain't gonna force her. Unless she needs to do something and I have to force her, but most of the time it doesn't happen. Put a stitch here. Of course, it made me forget what I was talking about from before. What was I talking about? Oh, the video camera, yeah. Well, I was talking about that. So, anyway, it should be a nice economical investment. And I think I'm going to get a lot of use out of it. I've always wanted to learn video editing. I've always said it. Like, whoop, if you can hear the garage door, husband's leaving. Oh, he left what up here. Well, it's going to be sad to learn that Papa left and didn't say goodbye. She loves her daddy. Where she lived before, she had it was a male owner, and she loved him. And so I think she has really taken to my husband. Loves to sit in his lap and stuff, so. So now the good news is he's leaving. He's going to be gone for like 3 hours or so, maybe. So when I get done with this, football gets ready to start, I got house to myself, which is not that big of a deal. It's just being quiet while I stitch and watch football. Wait, what? Hey, what? So, my neighbors over here, the Canadian neighbors, you guys may have heard me talk about them before, that I adore. They are awesome, and they are just like some of the best neighbors I've ever had in my life. And sadly, they're moving. And so that means that their baby, whom I call the Canadian baby, is moving as well, sadly. I mean, I was hoping maybe he would stay by himself, go over and help take care of him, but, because he's about, I think he's like 3-4 months old now. And, oh, he's freaking cute. I got to hold him yesterday when we were getting ready to leave for the theater. His mama brought him outside, and I was like, ah. So I walk up, and I'm like, hey, how's it going? She's like, fine, here's the baby. And so I got to hold on to him for a little bit, make him laugh, tease my husband and say, babe, I think I want one. We're not going to have kids. So we're both in our mid-40s and don't, at this point in our lives, it would be very physically taxing on me to have a kid, and it would just be very taxing on both of us to have children at this point. And I mean, if we had kids, it would be awesome, but I don't want to add that into my life. And no, I don't feel like I've been, I've missed something or anything like that. I've thankfully had a lot of wonderful friends who have had kids that I've been able to help take care of and get my kid fixed whenever I need it. So I love to hold kids, but I love to also let them go home to their parents. And but so anyway, so it makes me sad that they're moving, because they're just nice folks. But it's a better situation for them. They're going to Philadelphia, and so it'll be good for them. But wow, all right. I always feel like when I start losing the thread on the back of the needle, when I just start losing the thread on the needle, it's time to tie it off, because I waste time at that point, because I'm always pulling stuff off. Where am I? Do some more of this. Boom. Put that over there. Oh, husband came back in. I thought he'd left, but he has not. Somebody's mowing their lawn. I mean, that's all good and well, but I would have thought you would have had your last lawn. I mean, out here, pretty much when we had our snow a few weeks back, that would have been the perfect time to get it all mowed. If you want to mow it down, we like to leave ours a little bit tall, especially through the winter, because I think it helps kind of, I don't know, the more lush it is, the more it kind of covers stuff up, and I think it's healthier for it. It kind of traps everything underneath. So, uh-oh. What is going? What? Cocoa Puff. Cocoa Puff. Alright, I gotta figure this next one out. 1, 2. We are excited about Thor coming out soon. The movie. My husband is very excited about comic book movies, so we're excited about that one. We're going to definitely go see Justice League. I'm going to go see it because I love Wonder Woman, because she's awesome. And go see her again. But got Star Wars movie, Justice League. There's so many movies coming out this winter. It's crazy. We haven't seen Spider-Man yet. We were talking about renting that, but I think we'll do that next weekend. I'm kind of Spider-Man'd out. I mean, I like the kid that plays Spider-Man. I've followed his career, so I like him. But yeah, they've just done so many Spider-Man movies, and it's like, here's this trilogy, and now here's this trilogy, and it's just, I don't know, it gets so repetitive, and I just never been a big fan of Spider-Man, so it's all good though. Stretch my neck a little bit. Not really talking. Just stitching away. Happily stitching away. Oops. I'm a floss licker. I'm not ashamed of it. I'm definitely a floss licker. Minimal equipment. A little bit of yawn there. Waking up. Oh, there I am. Oh man, my legs are sore. Why are my legs sore? Probably was all like tensed up in the theater last night or something. I didn't even realize it. Kind of silly. Let's see, I'm just gonna go all the way down here. As you can see, I actually haven't finished up the page. This right here is the previous page. I need to go back and finish that up. I've just been a bit lazy about it. I kind of want to just jump in. I wanted to jump in and have more of the wording up here so we could kind of see what's going on. It made me feel better about it too, and I was just kind of lazy about it, and I haven't gone back and finished page 1, which is just kind of, well, lack of a better word, it's lazy. Let's see, 1, 2. There we go. Cocoa Puff. She's like, where's my dad? Where's the cat? Mom's stitching. She's not paying attention to me. 1, 2, 3, 4. Found I'm always looking for new YouTube channels to follow, and not just flosstube, because I like a lot of different things, and one of the things that I enjoy watching on YouTube is people building things. like the process of building a house. I really enjoy those old videos of like people building log cabins by hand. That's just awesome. I found a new channel yesterday, and I've only watched a couple of videos, and so I'm kind of excited to watch more. Maybe later today, the rest of the week, because there's quite a lot of videos, and these people are building their own house up in, I think it's Maine. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure it's Maine. And they're building their own house, and they're using some sort of framing technique that instead of like it being like a concrete block frame, it's some sort of, I want to say it's like ICF, which I think it's some kind of a foam, and it is like an interlocking foam that you then pour concrete into, because it's got all these holes and stuff, and it holds the frame, holds the shape of the concrete, and I guess it's just a lot cheaper than, and it's something you can do yourself, and so these folks have been working on it. But anyway, I don't know a whole lot about it, but I'm looking forward to getting in there. Coco, what? She's like, where's my dad? I want my dad. I'm gonna throw a tantrum, but it's okay. She'll be okay. As long as she doesn't start. Well, if she starts barking, then you'll hear why she's called what. Let's see here. I'm trying to figure this out. It's right here. Here we go. What? Anyway, so yeah, my plans for the rest of the day is just stitching. By the time this video is live, I'm going to be watching football and sitting back and stitching while I watch football. Probably doing some Old World Map 2. Need to make some more progress on that page. And yep, it's gonna be good stuff. I used to love football. It used to be my favorite thing ever. But I've just, I've gotten out of it a little bit, but and part of it is just how, the games are slow. There's too many commercials. Not enough players that I like to root for. I'm a quarterback girl, and so I'm always about the quarterbacks. And we've been in a glut of quarterbacking in the NFL. I mean, we have had some of the all-time greats. A handful of the all-time greats have been playing over the last so many years. But those guys are getting older, and there haven't been very many young, great quarterbacks to come in behind them. But there's a couple good ones now. I like Carson Wentz is excellent. Deshaun Watson has a lot of promise. Derek Carr I like to watch, and Kirk Cousins, he's a good dude. And so hopefully we're starting to get a little bit better. But I watch Red Zone now on my cable, and Red Zone is the best. Coco, she's getting impatient. We're gonna be closing this up here shortly anyway, but poor little dog. Life is so hard. But anyway, so she it's not perfect, but I'll take it as a stitch. So Red Zone basically is they just go from game to game to game to game. Usually they'll try to, like, if somebody's within 20 yards of the end zone or has made a big play, they'll switch over to that game. So there's no commercials, and it's just constant action for like hours. So that's the kind of football I like to watch now. I have a hard time sitting down and just watching a game. It is too slow. Hockey's not like that. Hockey is really fast, and it's awesome. So Bum, bum, bum. It's just cutting across here. Probably this the top of his jacket or something on this pilgrim. Oh, lawnmower finally stopped. Yay for the lawnmower stopping. One more here. Alrighty. Well, gotten some done. Just haven't gotten enough done to really, really see too much. I mean, you can see the hat, brim of the hat, the brim of the hat, and his shoulder and whatnot here. His face is coming in. So I think I'm gonna really try and focus on getting more of this filled in before the next update, so that we can start really seeing some progress being made. Stitch-alongs just don't last very long, but I can't upload a video right now that I know of. I can't upload a video longer than an hour, so I don't want to record multiple stitch-alongs in a week. That's I don't know. It's hard for me to like sit down and, not hard, but I mean, if I want to talk to you guys for, an hour at a time, I want it to at least be slightly interesting. And if I do more stitch-alongs during the week, it's going to start to sound like babble. And maybe it already sounds like babble, but no worries, no worries. But I'm going to wrap it up here, splice this video together, upload it, so that you guys, if you want to stitch along with it today, you can. And we'll see you we'll see you mid next week, Wednesday or Thursday, with the update. And we'll see how far along I've gotten, but I got my stitch bug back, and I'm absolutely excited to kind of keep stitching with these things and moving along. So you guys have a great rest of your weekend, rest of your week whenever you watch this. Stay safe, stay warm, and I'll see you soon. Bye.